Hi, welcome to the Kachmann Wellness Talk. About a 10-minute post that we have every week. If you watch it and look at past ones, you will learn, frankly, how to live to be 100. And today's subject is a little more serious. It's about cancer. About 50-70% of cancer can be prevented through good lifestyle and good health habits. And also, I'm going to teach you a little bit today about your Army, Navy, and Air Force that's living within your body, your immunity, and how your thought process can influence that. This will be very interesting. Let's speak about a little bit, first of all, about how can your mind affect cancer, for example. Candace Pert in 1972 discovered the receptor sites that are on our 70 trillion cells in our body. So how you think is very important. Your Army, Navy, and Air Force, your immunity that's fighting for you when you have an infection, for example, the immunity goes to work and heals you the majority of the time. Well, it's really the same for cancer. So, for example, if you are a negative thinker, you're much more likely to die from your cancer soon. If the doctor says you have 6 months to live and you believe it and you become depressed and you start thinking that way, you probably will be dead in 6 months. Versus you're going to a doctor who thinks you have a serious condition, but he knows there's a small percentage of the patients that make it, and he says, instead, I'm going to do everything I can to try to get you through this. And you start thinking in a more positive manner. Exercise, for example, and avoid depression, for example. Your Army, Navy, and Air Force will go to work for you. That really was scientifically proven, and I saw it many times in my patients. So I wrote a book on it. I was so excited about it, and so I wrote a book called Healing Cancer with the Power of Your Mind, Love, Hope, and Faith. It's based on science. It's based on many other books and my personal experience. Let me just give you one example. Living down the street from me was a Dr. LaShan in New York City. I never met him, but I read a book that he wrote years later, and Dr. LaShan would take this patient, female, with metastatic breast cancer, and he'd take her to lunch at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, where I live, 2 blocks, believe it or not, in New York City. And I thought I was poor. I don't think so. But I lived 2 blocks from it. He'd take her to lunch once a month. That was the appointment. And then he would take her to look at her favorite art, and he turned her into, taught her proper nutrition, positive thinking, restudied her 5 years later, no cancer. One case doesn't prove it, but then he turns around and studied over 500 people and published a famous book by Dr. LaShan, and he discovered that the positive thinkers and the ones who follow proper nutrition lived a lot longer. The spontaneous cure rate also went up. It was a huge difference. So it got to, because of that, I started reading more, and in this book, Healing Cancer with the Power of Your Mind, has the majority of things you need to know in there. Proper nutrition, for example. It's been discovered too. Otto Warburg from in Germany in the 1930s, wrote that cancer is a sugar feeder. It takes 13 molecules of sugar to make 1 ATP in a cancer cell. So cancer cells will take up a lot of sugar. So if you're eating a lot of sugar, you're much more likely to grow it and to spread it. Then he finds out also that people who have diabetes, sugar eaters, for example, which increases the serum insulin level, has increased rates of cancer attached to it. The type 2 diabetes has high rates of cancer. So What I recommend, nutrient-dense way of eating, 70-80% of the time. Fruits of color, it's a symphony, their mosaic of the interaction that lead to great health. So, for example, to avoid breast cancer, if you don't smoke, okay, if you no more than 2 or 3 glasses of wine a week and a reasonable weight, okay, don't have to be perfect weight, you reduce breast cancer rate 50-70%. Okay. Also, if you're a loving person, a positive person, and avoid stress, your Army, Navy, and Air Force will help fight and possibly cure the cancer that you have. So the power of the mind, love, hope, faith, faith in spirituality, faith in God also will cause hormones, neurotransmitters, neuropeptides to go to work for you. So your thought process can, through your brain, hitting these receptors on your cells can have tremendous influence on your body. So if you're trying to prevent cancer or you have cancer, I suggest you read this book, Healing Cancer with the Power of Your Mind. It's very thorough and gives you a lot of ideas on things to do, and if you follow it, I think it would give you hope and also may lengthen your life. Spontaneous cure rate may go up. This is all based on science. It's not just something that I said. It's based on many books. A guy named Quillen, Q-U-I-L-L-A-N, also has published some books, but he is called Symington, Getting Well Again. Revolutionary life-saving self-awareness techniques. For example, they have in their visualization and meditative techniques, which are excellent, which are also incidentally in my book, and they will, in other words, your thought process can speak to your immunity. They've proved now, they've actually proven that, and I have techniques in there, for example, where you could visualize a Kachmann coming into your body and eating up your cancer cells, and you're urinating them out or defecating them out, for example. You can activate your immune cells by your thought process based on many books. So I think it would be a great idea, and you can so encourage you not to throw in the towel and think negatively and say, well, they say I'm only going to live 6 months, and if you go into depression and negative thought process, your Army and Navy and Air Force will not step up and help defend you. Not a good idea. So I'm giving you hope, and this based on reality. I've seen patients that overcame even a very malignant brain tumor. I saw that the first thing the patient said to me, I'm not going to die. You know what happened? He didn't, on a very rare tumor. So it doesn't work for everybody, but it works for many people. So I've given you hope through faith, through love. Bring love into your life. Have a purpose. You found having a purpose in life is very important, because it speaks to your immunity. It'll make you healthy. Anyway, thanks for listening to me. We'll have another post next week. Maybe you'd like to review our other post. Kachmann Wellness has a lot of information available to you in these posts, generally 10-15 minutes. You could learn a lot. If you need to know more of my lectures, look at KachmannHealth.com or Facebook, Kachmann Live to Be 100. And I hope you speak to me when you pass 101. That means we'll both be there. I love you. Bye-bye.